G'day traders, 1 minute mindset reset. Today talking about the illusion has become real. There's a great scene in the movie Wall Street. Gordon Gekko's telling Bud Fox he bought a painting for $60,000. 10 years later it's worth $600,000. And he says, the illusion has become real. Now that's a really fitting statement to day trading, because there's people out there who are convinced that there's a holy grail, that there's fancy terms and all these concepts that describe what's really going on in the markets with the smart money and the banks and institutions. And there's a couple things that I know, and there's a couple things that I don't know. One is, I don't really know what goes on the inside, because A, I'm not there, and because B, there's so much happening, it wouldn't matter if I did know. I only have to do what I can do. So people are always saying to me, well, what happens if everybody, once everybody knows about this strategy won't work anymore? And my response to that is this: retail money will never ever be a threat to the big money, because number one, most traders won't get it, and they'll keep chasing the retail holy grail belief. They won't ever stick to a couple of setups and then realize that if they scale those setups up and grow slowly or fast, their size will be significant. And then again, the next point of that is that most retail traders will never ever trade big enough that even when they get it, it won't even matter. Go back and study markets. There is nothing new under the sun. Nobody's just come up with these new ideas about how markets work and how to trade them. This has been going on since the beginning of time. I've said this. Go get Peter Brandt's books, Schaubacher, Edwards and McGee. And people have said to me, yeah, but those are, how does that work with day trading and everything else? Those same classical chart patterns show up. But what I want to emphasize with classical charting is mostly breakout system trading. So were the turtles. What did the turtles understand? They're going to get a lot of losing trades. But when they get runners, they're going to be the ones that, and Peter Brandt says this, 3 or 4 trades a year are what gives him all of his growth on his account. Now, what can you gather from that? If most breakouts fail, think about that. What are those? If everything's in a box, a high and a low, and most breakouts fail, those typically, if they're at the timing window, at the high or the low of the box, are called reversal trades. So understand that everything is a geometrical classical charting pattern. There's only 2 things that are going on during the day: price and time. That's it. Now people have said to me, oh, that's, these are concepts of blah, 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 blah. No. It's a price level and a timing level. They bring you up 3 levels, or they bring you down 3 levels. And then they reverse the market, or they pull it back and trend it. It's that simple. So you have to identify setups that you can trade. And I've said this, I'm biased towards the short side. I love seeing 3 levels of rise to sell it at the session timings, off the numbers. There's nothing new. It's not anything else other than traders trying to believe that it's this it is, and I was the same, that it's this complicated, mirage of all these things. No, it's not. If you're inside of the high and the low before the timing window, you're in the order flow. You might be in the right direction for a blow off on a level 3 capitulation, or a stop hunt, or a peak formation, whatever that is. But there's sell setups, there's buy setups, and there's do nothing days. So there's 3 choices you have, and there's one decision. You're either going to buy, you're either going to sell, or you're going to do nothing. If you buy it, you want to buy low. Here's the trading strategy. Here's the market. I want to buy it low, cover it up here. If I'm selling, I want to sell it here, cover it down here. If I'm selling high, I'm going to put a stop in place, and I'm going to take profits, because there's another reason why most retail traders will fail. They won't take profits, or they'll hold on for too much and they'll get stopped out at break even. Or they'll give it back because they'll keep trading. That first move, that big move, is all I want. I don't need to catch every move. And I think a lot of traders have got this now. lock it in, get off the screen. You can keep trading. There could be a second leg later, but for me, some of these bigger, larger second leg moves are later into the night for me. So Northern Hemisphere traders, there's plenty of opportunities in the US session for some of these larger moves on NASDAQ, gold, oil. But often that first move can be the beginning of the move, and there may be a trailer in there from the beginning of the US session. As I've said before, it can take the entire day to actually build up for the biggest trade, the asymmetrical, 5, 10 to 1 opportunity. And sometimes we'll get a day 3, a day 2, a level 3 trade on a day 2, peak formation, high, low of the week. Or maybe 3 weeks of rise, 3 weeks of fall. In Asia, beginning of a week could be, peak formation for the month for a large move. And you might hold on to some trailers. But I take money off every time I'm in a trade. I take money off. That's, I'm done. I'm flat at the end of the session. Sometimes there's a trailer, but it's going to be a third or a quarter of what was the original position, so that there's no heat. It's already locked in some level of profit. And if there's a runner, it'll be a bonus. There is nothing new under the sun. Trying to make things complicated is for the person who wants to think that they know everything, and they want to prove that they know everything and that they're super smart. I could be the dumbest trader in the room, and still, the dumbest trader in the room can still make more money than the smartest guy in the room. Think about that. Mark Douglas says this all the time. Rest in peace. You don't need to know anything about the markets to make money. You don't. But if you want to do it consistently, you need to have an edge, and you need to be able to execute that edge flawlessly. Master some simple setups, understand the timings, lock it in, get off the screen, learn how to scale them up in size. If you're just scalping pips, ask yourself this: are those scalable trade setups, or am I just getting pips? Pips versus scalable trades are two totally different things. A 25 pip scalable trade that you can put size into is totally different than a 25 pip swing in a market that is maybe inconsistent for you to reproduce. Maybe had 25 pips, but it took 4 hours to work itself from one side to the other. So think about that. That's an order flow box for a vertical move later that goes 50 in 3 or 4 minutes. These are the sort of things you got to think about. So fancy terms, bullshit concepts, all those things mean nothing to me. I have some setups. I go to the screen. I don't care what anybody thinks, says, or does. I'm going to execute them, and I'm going to put my stop in. I'm going to lock in profits. I'm going to get off the screen, and I'm going to do it again and again and again. That's it. I don't care about anything else. That's all I'm focused on. I have no interest in whatever else is happening. I don't care. I want to know that there's no news before I trade. I'm not going to get in front of the news. If there's a trade and the news is a half an hour later and it's a trade setup, I'm hitting that trade. I'll take myself out of the market before the news if it's if a high impact news. If I'm trading after the news, I'm looking for a first bounce or a second hour trade. Simple as that. At numbers, timings, high and low. That's it. It was there at the beginning of time of markets. It's going to be there in 100 years, 200 years, 250 years. Don't care what anybody says. It's going to be there. Keep it simple. There is nothing new under the sun. Do not let the illusion fake you out from becoming consistently profitable and a winning trader. Have a great day, and may the markets go with you.